I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. Don't second guess it, I let it set it. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. I smack my girl's ass, tell her pinch me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. My guy Jimmer and myself, Danny G, here tonight to talk a little shit, talk some NFL scores over the last couple of days, including that amazing, just fucking perfect piece of a Monday Night Football game that included your favorite quarterback as well. And we got news and notes too, brother.
Yeah.
How you doing though?
Nice low blow. Appreciate that. But
you have waited way too long to jump off the wagon. That's all I'm saying.
I'm doing good. I couldn't wait. We'll get to that point, but I couldn't wait. I was about to rub your nose in it, but we'll get to the
because he had one good play.
No. That too. That was tied into it. But we'll get to that when we get to the game. But yeah, we'll go ahead and roll.
Yeah, let's go, brother.
The Cards trade Panthers Robbie Anderson after Marquise Brown's foot injury that will keep him out indefinitely. This comes after Anderson was sent to the locker room during the game by Coach Steve Wilkes. Little disagreements on the sideline, and it was Robbie Anderson with his wide receiver coach. It didn't look that bad. I mean, it just looks a little competitive to me than anything, but got sent to the locker room, and they was traded the next day.
Yeah. Could be good for Arizona. They need it, right?
Yeah.
With Hollywood being hurt, but I do feel bad for Robbie. Like, don't get me wrong, like, he's still a lot of drop passes and that. But you can see the talent's there.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get the ball, man. He just wanted to be in the game.
Absolutely, especially after seeing his post game and him describing that. He's like, I don't understand what and like he didn't say it like that. I should say it. He's like, I don't understand what everything's so bad about. He's like, I'll show my passion. I want to get out in the game. I understand why I was out on the third and medium, I think it was, or whatever. But he's like, I'm not in this game for any part of this other than winning and getting better. And he's like, I'm not about the money or any of that. He's like, I want to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know if that's gonna happen in Arizona, but he definitely will have the opportunities with a way better quarterback than what he was getting presented there. So,
yeah, man. I mean, Kyler. I'm not a huge fan of Kyler, but when he wants to get you the ball, he's going to get you the ball. Like Hollywood, I never pictured him as a 10+ target, a game receiver. And Kyler literally said that's what we need to do, and he's been doing it until he got hurt. So, if Robbie shows something, can get that relationship with Kyler, it could be a big year for him. I mean, especially because Hopkins is going to be taking up so many defenders and things like that, right? So
I mean, your opposite DeAndre, he's coming back also. Rondale still there. So
yeah,
that's the only part that makes me kind of a little weary because he's had weapons outside of DeAndre Hopkins before. He didn't carry Christian Kirk very well, and obviously Christian Kirk is kind of blowing up a little bit down there in Jacksonville.
True.
We laughed about it, and he's been doing it. In fact, I think he just got a touchdown this last weekend, too. I don't know if all the yards and all that stuff were there, but regardless, he doesn't use all the talent all the time that's around him in receivers. It's DeAndre or maybe one dude will go nuts. This guy, this game, and I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but hopefully it works off of Robbie because I think I'm on his side on this one, unless something else were to come out, but.
Yeah, me too, man. And by the way, I love when you go into something like that and you totally dog a quarterback that you used to be big on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, keep going, bro. I'm here for this.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I respect that.
Well, we'll get in from one into another then. And that's Tom Brady goes on another F-bomb laced tirade on the sideline, this time against his O-line. Now, what was said, it's hard to kind of tell, but in the video, and it's all over Twitter, is he's yelling at his offensive line, you guys are fucking better than this. Pull your fucking head out of your asses. And then it kind of the announcers are kind of like speaking over it, so it's hard to make out everything out. But I don't know if someone like did a little sound check, put some extra voice in there, but there's one out there that I seen that you could They made it sound like he said, I didn't come back and lose my family to lose to Kenny fucking Pickett.
So perfect.
Right?
God, I hope that's what he said.
I hope that is it. Man. Right? I mean, like I said, you lost to Kenny Pickett and you lost to Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, buddy. They did beat you. But you earlier when we were talking, you mentioned something about Tom's tirades versus others you've seen.
Yeah, so I have a huge problem with that. I have a huge problem with so I'm getting tired of his little tirades anyway. Personally, like they're getting way overdrawn. And before, I was one of the guys that believed it was in the competitive nature part, and he's just getting pissed because he wants to win and just shit, you know. So I was all about that. But just alluding to the previous story, I'm tired of seeing players that go out there, they do the same thing on the sideline. They have a little blow up because of their competitive nature for the most part, like 90+% of the time. And the media and everybody crucifies them for it. But Tom Brady it's just competitive nature, and he just it has nothing to do with anything. And I'm getting tired of seeing that. I'm tired of, like, it's a double standard, and I'm tired of seeing that. It's OBJ kicks a field goal net and it bounces back. The dude was pissed. He wanted to win. He's competitive also. Robbie Anderson, asking why in the hell he's not out there, and there's been multiple quite a few times a season where that happens, and they're pieces of shit for doing it, but Tom Brady isn't.
Yep.
Tom Brady gets a memo sent out by the NFL because of him, a memo sent out saying that no more throwing tablets, not directly to Tom, but to the teams.
Right.
So I don't know where you sit with that, but.
No, I'm totally with you, man. It's bullshit. We are literally in the middle of watching the downfall of Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have came back this year. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of people that have different opinions about him than they would have if he did retire last year.
Yeah. So we were ahead of that one a little bit. I think we were believing that this was finally going to be the downfall. We've been waiting for 5 years, right? Right around 5 years, we've been calling it at least. This is it. Father time. This one was it. You weren't committed to coming back, and then you did. And a lot of things haven't been falling in place since then. Stuff that is out of the ordinary for Tom, not showing up to camp or having so many days off of it. And
well, there's more than that, though, too.
And then,
he's missing practices. He decided to go get drunk with Robert Kraft this weekend before the game. And then there was a point in the game where they had an injured player, and he wasn't in the huddle for that and stuff like that. It's like he's actively not trying to be part of the team. Mm. And when you are the quote-unquote GOAT, you're the reason that team goes. So if you're not going, if you're not committed, that team is not going to be committed, man.
Absolutely. And you're shortchanging your teammates, your fan base, and you're giving a lasting image. You probably don't have the best image all around anyways. I mean, throughout his whole career outside of winning Super Bowls, there's a lot of question marks up in there, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't how I would have wanted to go out, Like, I probably either should have sat that one out, or I'm going to be 100% committed for this season.
Yep.
But this is kind of big one. Lawyers for the Commanders' employees, the lawyer is worried Dan Snyder got client names via the NFL's probe. So, for a little context, I have the article here. And let's see. They believe the NFL violated a very specific promise of confidentiality that was made to her clients before they testified to investigators about Dan Snyder and the team's toxic workplace culture. Lisa Banks is the attorney. She said the Commanders' lawyers used the NFL investigator Beth Wilkinson's inquiry as a tip sheet to compile an enemies list that was used by Snyder's law firm to commission private investigation and harass her clients, including former team cheerleaders and other former employees.
Yeah, dude. He definitely had the list, right?
Yeah.
And it's because he's got the NFL by the nuts.
Right.
Flat out.
Because that was going to be my question to you. Why does he have the list?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got him by the nuts. There's no other owner, probably in any sport, but especially the NFL, that would still have their job after all the shit that's come out about them and about their team and about everything to do with them. There's nobody else. No. He's got something on them.
He has to, because like Robert Sarver, yes, his was racial. I'm not trying to condone or lighten that up in any way, shape, or form. But how's that any different? The Portland Trailblazers won, and you know what I mean? There's been stuff, and they lose their teams, you know, and like because you haven't caught in Daniel Snyder with a racist remark is the only reason why he still has this.
Right.
So a little bit more to that is Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, who also has skeletons in his closet too, people. He believes that there's merit in him getting his team taken from him, basically is what he's saying. Reporter asked him, when the vote goes down, do you see 24 votes happening? He said that he believes that there could or will be, however he worded it. So looks like it's going to. Let's go into the conspiracy corner part of it. I talked to you about this before. I think what he has is building on what's been kind of slowly coming out, if it's right in front of you and if people pay attention. Brian Flores touched on it. What is his name? Hugh Jackson touched on it. And that is that the NFL is rigged. You're watching glorified WWE. Everything may be real on the field, like the hitting and everything like that, but they know what it's going to be. They know what the results are going to be. You have to have coaches in on it too. You have to a certain extent, because refs can't just do it all themselves. They can't. Right? Because then it looks obvious as shit. So they have to have some version of that. This team taking that, blah, 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 right? We've talked about it before. How many conspiracy theories are there when it comes to, like, when a mass tragedy happens to a city, all of a sudden their NFL team wins the Super Bowl or goes to the Super Bowl. One of the two. How many of them were there? Boston, New York, Katrina down there with New Orleans. You know, just saying.
It's, you know, and it does play into the 90% of the time. Vegas, okay, we're talking about gambling here. Yeah. They are so close on everything. How the fuck can you be so on the nuts when the game hasn't played yet? Like, either you have time travelers, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe there's some other kind of sketchy shit going on.
Right.
Like you're saying. So, man, I don't think that's that wild of a conspiracy, bud.
Well, especially when you're talking, like we mentioned before, was the NFL absolutely refused many times, like a decade's worth. They would, in no way, shape, or form would they ever be tied to sports gambling in any way, shape, or form. Now, one of their biggest sponsors is either DraftKings or FanDuel. I can't remember which one it is, but regardless.
I think it's DraftKings.
I think it's DraftKings, right? Yeah. But my point is you're in it right now. Like,
yeah, you're knee deep in that shit.
I'm not going to be shocked if that's what comes out, because it has to be something big.
Yeah.
Do you have something nasty and dirty about 32 owners? I don't know. All 32, because like all of them are like being bashful about it.
Yeah.
Versus something directly on the NFL itself.
Man, let's keep on this for a minute. Could you imagine the hit the NFL would take if all of a sudden people stopped gambling because that came out? That's so much money.
Well, how many viewers do you think they would lose if they found out it was already predetermined?
Yeah, man. That would be.
And how many pissed
wild.
off players there would be?
Yeah,
knowing that it was, because they no matter how hard they worked, and some of them worked their tail off their whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so it really didn't mean anything. So that Dallas Cowboys, it was a catch. All this stuff throughout history, all these things. There's not a good camera view of the Franco Harris. You know what I'm saying?
Or, dude, like,
because so many of the Raiders claim that bounced off the ground, but there's no camera angle for it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Think about that. Think about how many times do we watch an NFL game and we know clearly the most talented player on that field is not getting the ball.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
Well, like, why the fuck? What's the logic there?
Marshawn from the 2.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we go into thinking that it's the coaches or whatever don't want to give the MVP to Marshawn. I don't know if it was quite that. It goes into more, possibly, is what I'm saying. Like,
damn, yeah.
You know, how many of these games are It's pretty hard to like try to detail or try to hit on a David Tyree helmet catch, but there might have been stuff plenty in those games, you know.
There's a lot of wild shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So to be clear, we're not saying the NFL's rigged for sure,
No.
but there is a lot of evidence that could say here is what points us in that direction. I get you, man.
Right. Get the attention, right?
Wow. Yeah.
An Arizona couple have been indicted for trying to extort Georgia Tech by falsely accusing basketball coach of sexual assault.
Fuck, that's fucked up. A couple.
Yeah. So I didn't full bore read this article. It was, let's see if I can bring it up so we get a little more depth there. But regardless, the only thing I really want to say to that one was good. Because the people that really do get sexually assaulted, you know, it's always in the back of the, like, hold on, stuff like that where people can diminish somebody, beat down somebody's reputation, everything like that, and completely
yeah, because, I
ruin
mean,
'em
you can't come
over
back from
lies,
that.
yeah.
You know?
It's always there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, right there. Indicted for trying. There it is. Let's see. Co-defendant Ronald Bell and co-defendant Jennifer Penley were indicted on felony charges of conspiracy to transmit a threat interstate, conspiracy to extort property from another, and attempted extortion on August 24th.
Oh, so it's an older couple, 56 and 50-year-old woman. They told a security guard at the college to lie to officials and corroborate their story. So they promised them $20 million for cooperating. So they bribed the security guard to lie, saying he witnessed a Georgia Tech coach sexually assaulting the woman. And the guard was promised $20 million for cooperating.
Damn, you might not have even got $20 million, so that's a lot to promise.
Right.
So that person must have came forward then.
Yeah, they must have.
$20
Yep.
million, promised them a portion of the money. Yeah. Chris Megan with each other and Chris Megan. Well, good. But regardless, good. Oh, Penley called the police on May 2019 and reported the passenger sexually assaulted her. Okay. So So they went through this whole thing to try to get money, and now they're getting punished because they got caught.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Transmit a threat interstate. So that must be why the feds are getting involved, because it's crossing state lines, son.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
That's what you get.
Fuck off.
There's one thing before I keep going. There's one thing I wanted to bring up. So we haven't talked about it too much, but that Devontae Adams into the microphone guy.
Yeah.
I showed you a video that came out of a different angle. Did your opinion change after you watched that video?
Yeah, definitely changed. It's wild how different that made me feel about it. The original video where you can see behind him and it looks like he just straight shoves the guy to the ground. There's a side view for those of you that want to take a look. Mm-hmm. It looks totally different. It looks like that guy ran in front of him, probably by mistake. And Adams literally, when he extended his arms, it was more to like stop himself, protect himself, then push anybody.
Right, like someone coming up in your grill because his head was down too.
Yeah, yep, he
right?
wasn't looking. Yeah, so that definitely changed my mind in what, the way everything played out. And it's fucking crazy because you wouldn't think, you're like, I see the video, I can tell what happened, but this totally changed what I think about that.
And especially because you also notice, because I don't know if we really noticed that close before with the first camera angle, you see a Oakland Raider go into the locker room or go into that same tunnel literally 5 feet, 10 feet maybe from Devontae Adams when this dude tries to boot scoot across right at that time. If you're there, and he wasn't trying to take a picture either, so that was the first report, is that he was trying, no, he's bolting across. So you were in the wrong position, and then you try to go across the guy that was startled by you being up in his shit, especially with all these fans coming out in the stands too.
Yeah.
So that different camera angle definitely changed. Like, I was a little more sensitive towards Devontae than like you and Miles on that one, but in this one, I was like, after I seen that angle, I'm like, no, fuck that. That dude shouldn't be allowed back on the field. If you don't know how to position yourself, knowing these guys are coming out in the field, you shouldn't be crossing their path anyways.
Yeah.
Unless you're making it clear that, like, I'm in front of you. You're not like you're sitting there darting in front of someone. Because that would have been my natural reaction.
Yeah, like tap somebody or fucking go around them or do something. Yeah.
Right. Because there wasn't another Raider or anybody walking behind Devontae.
Right.
You know, you literally could have waited and go right behind him too. So,
Yeah.
I just forgot that we hadn't mentioned that up to the point in the new camera angle. So
yeah, it definitely changed my opinion, man. I'm with Devontae now.
The Titans in the city of Nashville reach a deal for a domed $2.1 billion stadium.
Well, yeah, I guess they needed it. I don't like the dome thing because that means it's going to be turf. So
That's what I was going to go with on this one. And that is, you're getting rid of all aspects of the outside game of football, right? That's me saying that, and I still believe the best stadium, definitely in the United States, if not the world, is U.S. Bank Stadium.
yes, sir.
But not every stadium needs to go to that. You know, it isn't like Tennessee. I'm going to assume Tennessee does not get as cold as Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right.
Right? Get frigid. So, I don't know. But they said 25, said something about like I think it was the daughter, the son or someone that owns it now. Said their dad brought it there 25 years ago to Tennessee, and they're glad to see it do it. It just needs to pass like city council vote, basically.
Yeah, it is hard for guys like us. Like, we like to see the different types of stadiums, and sometimes you play in outdoor conditions because that's part of football, right? You think of Chicago, you think of Green Bay, things like that. So it's hard to see them move. I get why they're moving in that direction, get rid of the elements. But again, thinking about turf, like if they legitimately had concerns about player health, they wouldn't be doing turf, though.
No.
It's all money.
No, absolutely. And maintain, yeah, absolutely. That's the turf thing bugs me. They could go with like Arizona's at least and have a retractable grass field.
Yeah.
Now, Andy Reid was bitching about that, about their field being shit. That's where they lost like a couple of their players and stuff like that. But that just means the ground crew wasn't taking care of it very well if that's the case, because generally speaking, it's better for you to play on grass than it is for you to play on turf when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, I mean, if you're basically playing on gravel or rough fucking ground, I get it, right? But that's where the cost comes in. It's a little more expensive, maybe a lot more expensive to maintain, straight up ground, but it's definitely proven. I mean, historically, it's safer, especially on your knees, your ankles, all that, So.
Yep. Probably even better, if we're being honest, probably better on the concussion part too. Right?
Yeah.
There's a little more give to a grass field than, to a hard turf.
Yeah, agreed, man.
So, the PGA Tour will announce 4 events being added to be elevated to the $20 million tier of purses. Surprised?
No, bro, they had to, right? Shit. You're trying to keep up with Liv. God, yeah, it makes sense. They're feeling it. They're feeling the pain. So they've got to. That's a lot more money to be thrown around.
All those golfers that just hopped over there, and this is why we did it.
Yeah, because you could have done it before.
You could have done it before, and now we press yours, and this is like you should have just already had it anyways, right? There's money being transferred hand over fist, and endorsements and everything like that, and sponsorships for the PGA Tour, and this money was there. You didn't just jump up to $20 million on a four more out of nowhere.
Yep.
$80 more million for purses, just like that.
Yeah. It related to golf. I did have a question, though.
Yep.
I saw this on a video, like a TikTok or something earlier, so I want to ask it to you. So let's say you're playing the Masters, right? You, right now, with your current skill set.
Ooh.
Where, from drive to hole, where would your start have to be to have a chance to win the Masters? Like yardage or feet or whatever. Where would you have to be?
Oh, man. For me to be, well, I don't know if I'm really that competitive at 400 yards. So I would have to say par 4s would have to be no more than probably 350.
I'm saying for you to be competitive with these guys, to have a chance to win the Masters.
That's what I'm saying, actually. Unless we're talking about I get a putting game all of a sudden. But I'm talking about, because if you go much more than that, I have been able to smack a ball pretty damn hard. Then I'm just out drive the green then.
Yeah.
You know, you said my current skill set. So I don't know what my strength is versus the ball. You know, I can't tone it down on a 325.
You can be as close as you want to the hole to start.
As close as I want to start.
This is where you legit have a chance to win the Masters.
Oh, okay.
You're still, you or I,
okay.
none of us are still going to even have a chance to win at 300, 200. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Legit shot. 15 yards.
Yes, dude.
I don't even know if it'd be 15 yards. Cause like
put me on the green, bitch.
Yeah, put me on the green, and I'll still I'll end up 4-putting it. You see me golf out there, like I have a beautiful hole, beautiful drive, beautiful second shot, put it right up on the green within 10, 15 feet, maybe 15 feet, somewhere in that ballpark. 2-putt that bitch.
Yep.
At least.
Yep. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
These guys are so good. That's a first start. And we are so mediocre
Right.
/ bad at golf.
I was going to say bad, mediocre. Yeah. I think we underestimate what mediocre is actually in golf.
That's a good point.
You know?
So put me like 4 feet from the hole, and I think I have a shot against these guys.
4 feet.
Put me in there. It's the first thing I thought of when I saw this video. This guy's like, yeah, I think, 210. I think if I could go from there, I'd get it on the green. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, bro. I'm still not competing yet. Keep going. Yeah. Keep moving up.
NASCAR suspends Bubba Wallace 1 race for Las Vegas fracas. You said you saw this video.
Yeah.
Did you see the before, like what transpired, or are you talking about just the physical part?
No, I saw what transpired.
Okay. Can you give a little detail into that? Because the only thing I've really seen was the quote-unquote aftermath. I did watch him go after him.
Yeah, who's the other guy? So it's Bubba and...
Was it Kyle or was it Hamlin?
Maybe it was Hamlin. But either way, so Bubba and the other guy, they're coming around a turn, and it looks like the other guy taps him, and he just about goes into the wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then basically Bubba gets pissed.
Kyle Larson,
okay. So then Bubba gets pissed and slams Larson, and then they spin out and whatever. Then the altercation happens. Well, the problem was this happened before. Almost the exact same thing happened before. But then I think Bubba actually ended up winning the race. He didn't crash. He ended up coming through. The thing that I'm seeing, so I love this in fucking NASCAR. Yeah. Good. Go at it. I want to give me another reason to watch because I can't do the circles all day, all right?
Right.
But the thing about this is when you watch it, he didn't actually touch Bubba. He got close.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So he kind of blew up. He lost control at that point, which is why, he would have slammed into the wall. But it doesn't look like he actually touched him. So maybe the draft.
Draft of it.
Maybe that could have done it, I suppose. But when I looked at I watched that a couple times. I'm like, shit, maybe he didn't. Maybe he blew up for no reason. But I've never driven a car 245 mile an hour around a curve. Maybe it felt like you got tapped and you didn't. I don't know. But it doesn't look like you did, man.
Right. But you would think that your team would be watching video of it too, like be able to calm you down before you get out of the vehicle. I'm not going against Bubba on this one. Quite honestly, first off, dude's like scared the shit out of Kyle Larson. I watched his video. Like the dude looked scared. Like he was like, "Oh shit."
Anybody named Bubba, right?
Yeah.
Like,
anyone like fuck that. Yep. Not even rolling. But he goes in and shoves him a few times, yelling this, that, and the other. Like I'm actually with you though. I'm with you in the aspect of racing is so fucking boring. You need something like that. I'm rooting for Bubba Wallace anyway, like even before that. And he said he felt like he had a car that could win in this race. And I think he led like 49 laps or something like that. So if he felt like he was probably frustrated, even if he felt or didn't feel a bump, he just, dude, you threw me off because of the airflow or whatever, and all that shit. So I watched a video. I saw a dude scared as shit. I saw another one physically dominating him.
I'm here for it.
I think I've seen stuff like that before. I've seen Luke do that to Rio a couple times. I've watched him physically pick him up by his wrist and his half foot and throw him off a bed. Yes. So there's manhandling, right?
Let's be real with this. Stop trying to make NASCAR PG and fucking politically correct and everything, okay? What needs to happen, and I know safety and all that is involved, so this would change things. What needs to happen is if somebody dings you up and you guys decide you crash, you're pissed at the other dude, you give them, let them do like hockey, right? Let them fight until somebody falls down, whatever.
Yep.
And then maybe you've got, instead of suspending them a game, the next race, they kind of have a penalty box for the first couple minutes of the race.
Yeah.
And then they can go after everybody else.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
That way you get a little bit of entertainment. And I mean, you can't, when you try to clean up NASCAR too much, it takes away the crowd that's actually there for it anyway.
Right.
Nobody that watched that actually enjoys NASCAR didn't want to see that fight.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
They got to do something. You can't make it too clean.
Right. What, you suspend him for it? It wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't. He didn't punch him.
No.
Pushed him, scared him a couple times.
Scared just because he's a scaredy bitch and that, and like how he acted in his reaction to it doesn't mean that. Like, come on, we've seen way, way worse. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I should have looked this up before I got on, but I've seen some fist fights, in like when the races were done, right?
100%.
I don't know how many of those guys got suspended.
Right.
If I recall.
It's all about if the video comes out, man.
Right. It is about that. I'm like, it wasn't even that bad. Like I said, it's probably more the scared tactic of it.
Guarantee most of these guys started off like go-kart racing or some shit, right? Or on some dirt tracks. Mm-hmm. And you've seen their dads get pissed because, you knock your kid off and they fight and everything. It's not like anybody's immune to this or has never seen this shit before. Let it go. Figure out a way to let it go. I'm here for that.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely. The Tennessee Volunteers are seeking donations for goalposts that were torn down after the win versus Bama.
That was awesome.
Is our boy Rocky Top going to chip in, you think?
Oh, he's throwing in for sure.
He's throwing in for sure. He's like, you need money? I got this.
I got you. It was worth it for that win.
Worth every bit. God, that was the seeking the donations. The only thing if you want to make it kind of serious, like, are you kidding? How much money did you make? How much money did you make during that game? You can't pay for a goalpost.
I don't know why they're saying that. That's bullshit. That's the epitome of what's going to happen in college football. Unless you made the playoff and won it somehow, this is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
In a long time. In a very, very long time.
In a very long time, since 99.
Yeah.
I do believe it was T. Martin won there, or won a national championship with him the year after Peyton Manning. But, I just thought that was kind of entertaining.
I remember, so I was watching the end of this with my wife. She came home, and she's like, oh, they won, cool. Like, and everybody came out, and she hasn't used to seeing people storm the field and stuff, and they were doing that. She's like, what are they doing to the goalpost? And I'm like, they're about to rip that fucker out of the ground.
Rip it out of the ground.
She's like, no way. And she got into it just because of that. So,
they didn't do it when Iowa, who was it that Iowa upset? Was it last year? Big time upset. They flooded the field, but they at least didn't rip down the goal. Didn't rip down the post. Was it Penn
State?
Was it Penn State? Yeah,
I think so.
I think it was Penn State. They at least didn't rip down the goal post, but they should have. Be way cooler.
Way cooler.
Tennessee knows what's up, and that's what I got, my man. Let me give you my strange law quick.
Let's do it.
And I have a couple good ones, so the next podcast is going to be damn good. But this one is good too. So, no, I take it back. I have it highlighted. We're doing this one right now. Forgot that I did this.
Do it.
So in Tennessee, and more specifically, Dyersburg, Tennessee, it is illegal for a woman to call a man for a date. No, that isn't the funniest one. It's the other one. But regardless, it is illegal for a woman to call a man for a date.
Wow. So they're not here for this women empowerment movement, apparently. You got to have the man come and do it. That's holy shit.
So weird how the southern states, I call this more like a eastern state. Like I think where they draw this line, like they just saying, "Oh, we're part of the Mason-Dixon and blah blah blah." I'm like, that line seems to kind of creep up, like depending on what you're hooting and hollering up over there, right? And like
100%, dude.
People's rights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because you said there was one with South Carolina. I think there was some shit in North Carolina,
Yep. Virginia's a little fucked up in spots.
Virginia
and stuff like
is
that.
too,
yeah.
and then we just kind of blame it on the old school nature, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Seems like we're kind of getting a little close to next. The only place that won't happen is New York. So
yeah, it's weird how like modern we seem in Iowa compared to some of that shit, right?
Right.
Like I feel like we're country boys over here, and fucking we hear some wild shit about what goes on down
right.
there.
I go tell my wife like half of this stuff, man. She would backhand me. I do not condone physical violence.
No, but Jimmer, let's talk about these games.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first half of the motherfucking day was insane,
yes.
dude. We can go game by game.
Yep.
The Vikings game we should have expected. We can start with that, right?
Yep. So they did exactly what we were thinking. We kind of overthought it a little bit. Miami made it a little tough for a minute, and actually it was after they lost their undrafted free agent quarterback Skylar Thompson. Teddy B comes in, and Teddy B throws for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. Yeah, with 2 picks. Dalvin Cook finally busted loose. We didn't run the ball very well. Our offense still just isn't feeling quite there. Our defense was on. Here's a crazy one for you, and I'm sure you saw this. Our defense was on the field a ridiculous amount of time. So the temperature on our sideline, there was a picture of both. And this is the reason why they said it's one of the best home field advantages. 120 degrees on the Viking sideline versus under 100. I think it was like mid-90s, upper 90s.
It was almost 30-degree difference.
Yeah. Almost a 30-degree difference. Now, the stat I was going to give you is with that defense that hot, as in the temperature outside on that sideline, and being on the field as long as they were, do you realize that the Vikings in the 10, and just the insanity of our defense, the Vikings out of 15 drives, 10 of them were 3 and out, and still pulled this off in that tremendous ass heat with what is considered our weaker link.
Yeah,
in the defense, right?
Yeah, man, you got to give them props. There was a point in the first half, though, that I really thought Miami was going to come down and score. But oddly enough, they had 5 straight defensive penalties. I don't know if you remember that drive or not.
Yeah.
But every single play was a big play. I'm like, they're inside the 5. Oh, no, it's pulled back. Oh, they're at the 10. Oh, it's pulled back. Every time they got a big chunk of yards, and then eventually couldn't do anything. Dude, they had the stats. I didn't actually look through the team stats for this, but Miami had the ball 35 minutes, right?
Yeah.
They had 400. Where did it go? 418. Nope. Let's go total yards. 458 total yards to our 234.
Yeah.
Like when you go down line by line, we lost that game unless you look at the scoreboard. So man, I'm glad we keep winning games like this, but that
like at some point, this doesn't feel that good. Like he's trying to calm us down. Like, hey, you guys are 5-1. You guys need to stop. I'm like, yeah, but we're doing this against like teams that aren't good, are in a weird flux, as in Green Bay, and the Dolphins without their 2 quarterbacks, and the one comes in and almost, kind of sparks them too.
We made Teddy look way too good, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jalen Waddle also helped get us back into this game because the bobble pass, which got picked off by Harrison Smith, and then he was then Waddle later on, I do believe it was him. He was busting loose there, and I think it was Smith, and that one comes in and punches it out, and we end up getting.
That's what let us ice the game.
Yeah.
And then Kirk fell. Did you see that? Went back to kneel it.
Yeah.
Last play of the game, and he fell down. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Of course.
He's trying to give it back. He's like, are you sure you guys are done?
Right.
This game was a little too close for comfort, and by what you're saying, by the stats there, maybe we should have even lost it. So
especially that Miami had their D-backs were hurt, man. So their starting D-back got hurt, or their stud, I guess I should say, and then we took advantage on one drive, but then they locked us down after that. After that touchdown to Irv Smith, that drive. Yeah. Right? Great. We did great because he got hurt, but then they adjusted or we didn't. Something happened, and all of a sudden they locked us up again. So we'll take the dub, though.
Giving your huge shout-out right here. You took me and Luke right out of this one, and that is the Giants over the Ravens. The Giants are 5-1, sir. Yeah. The Ravens also pissed us away, too, and more specifically Lamar Jackson. He's doing too much he's trying to do too much at the end of a game, right? That's what it looks like to me. He's trying to make something happen that didn't even need to happen at that particular point, right? Yeah, you like, don't force it. Let's fight to live another down.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the first 3 games of the year. He's earning that contract.
Yeah.
He's pissing it away right now, man.
He is. Kenyon Drake out of nowhere, which pisses
Looking
me off.
good.
Yeah, 119 and a touchdown, 10 carries. Mark Andrews. But the Giants, they're kind of doing. They didn't have the expectations. They haven't had the expectations for years. Fuck, a decade almost. They're 5-1. They're not a comfortable 5-1, just like the Vikings, but they'll definitely more than take it, right?
And they're getting healthier. All of their receivers are hurt, right?
Yep.
They're getting these wins with those guys slowly but surely starting to come back.
Yep.
I think they're. Excuse me. I think they're only going to be better, man.
Can I put a little bug in your ear?
What do you got?
Saquon for MVP.
Ooh.
Just a bug. Don't look at the stats. Tell me that there isn't a more important player right now to their team's record.
Yeah, I mean, okay, for running back, I could definitely see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
And him having the comeback year that he is. It is. So if we took quarterbacks out of it, I'm not going to argue with that. That's the tough thing. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's even being as special or anything as like Jonathan Taylor was last year. Because Jonathan Taylor last year, if we're going by running backs, would have gotten it versus a Saquon. But what he means to this team right now, and what turning this into a 5-1, and they're playing smash mouth. They're getting down, and everyone's buying into winning. You know, like we don't care how we had to do it, and he's the kind of the catalyst, and he's kind of proven like I'm not done. Right?
Agreed.
There was trade talks. Remember, early part of the season or preseason.
Yeah, dude. In one game, we didn't even talk about Jimmer because it was like, okay, this is a
Slam
no
dunk.
fucking brainer.
Yep.
The Atlanta Falcons double up the San Francisco 49ers. I don't understand. If there's anything that I'm happy to be wrong about, it's that the Falcons were going to be bad this year.
Yeah.
Every game they've lost, they've been competitive in. Best part about this game, did you see after the game what happened? What's their coach's name?
Falcons?
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Who is theirs?
I fucking love this guy. If you want to look it up while I'm talking, you can. Yep. What he did after the game, he took the big man up and had beers after the game. They all went up, pads and everything, up into the fucking the stadium.
Yep.
And they all had beers after the game.
Artie Smith.
Artie Smith. Yeah.
Okay.
Big fan of this guy.
Hell yeah.
Dude, he's been great ever since. Like the 2 games ago when they won, they ran the ball like 20-some straight times. Mm-hmm. There's footage of him on the sideline literally telling them, don't worry about it. We're about to run it down their throat every fucking play. And that's what they did, and they ended up winning that game. Then he takes the big man up and has a beer with them. They're buying in somehow too. What the hell?
And they're doing it with like the worst cap, like nobody out there, everyone counting them out. Marcus Mariota went 13 of 14. Yeah. I mean, the stats aren't blowing you out of the building, but 13 of 14 for 2 touchdowns. The rest of the stats is one of those games and he also had one on the ground too, 50 yards, so kind of bald. But you look at the stats, Danny, and not a single part of this would say that the Falcons won this game besides the score.
Yeah.
There wasn't a sack for Atlanta. They did have, there must have been a fumble return for a touchdown. Must have been. Hawkins, yep, recovered for a touchdown. Yeah, so they had some weird plays. In fact, I think I remember seeing that on the game break come across. No part of this made any sense. I mean, but they also picked off Jimmy G twice.
Yeah.
So I've been a huge beat down Jimmy G since we started this podcast, and this is why right here. I'm going to call my shot right now.
Okay.
And that is just like they did 3 weeks ago. They lost an ugly game, and then they won on primetime with him. And everyone forgets about his ugly ass game the one before, and the media and everyone wants to blow him up literally in the game, in the post game, right? But all the adversity you fought through, you weren't even gonna be here, and oh man, you're doing so awesome, and he's doing the ooh gee shucks, blah 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 blah. No, there's a reason why they were looking to get rid of you, and these are those games right here. And this happens on a regular basis. Like I said, I think it was. I'm 1,000% certain. It was just like 2-3 weeks ago. The Broncos loss. Yeah, forget all about the 11-10 Broncos loss, right?
Yeah, the games they've lost have been bad. They lost to the Bears, Broncos, and Falcons. They're playing down to their competition, dude.
Right.
Anytime you can beat up Jimmy G, I'm totally cool with that. He didn't play 29-41 is not bad. almost 300 yards, but he did have 2 picks, right? They only ran the ball 16 times. That's not Niner football.
That isn't.
They obviously went away from game script, right?
Right. Brandon Ayuk being your leading receiver has translated over his time there. It doesn't feel like, I am not giving you factually based stuff on this one, but it feels like when he's the guy, it doesn't bode well for the team in victories.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like that. That's great for fantasy. Look what he did. 8 receptions, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyler started him. Right?
Yeah.
But that isn't the guy. I don't think that's the guy you want to have 8 receptions and the couple of touchdowns in there, right?
Yeah, dude.
Not for team success, at least. At least it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, they're players. Debo, right? You got to have Debo getting the ball more. So, yeah, man, I'm totally with that. Just Jimmy G throwing the ball that much does not make sense for the Niners. It's not how they're going to win. And so I think it's a combo of the Niners play down to bad teams, and the Falcons are playing up to every fucking body this year.
Right.
So,
my wife is calling, and I think it's
here
my daughter that's trying to say good night. Night, baby.
Tell him to come home.
Once I'm done, I will. Love you guys.
That's awesome.
Boom, boom.
Sam, take some notes. You don't do that for me. Please.
Love you guys.
It's messed up.
Bye.
No, she's trying to be nice and not bother me while we do this. So
Yeah, that's what mine usually does. It's getting a little late, but ish. But yeah. Falcons playing out of their mind. We get into another one. Do you have these as like I do, like 3 kind of back to back?
Go ahead.
To back.
Go ahead. We'll see where you go.
I got the Patriots over the Browns, 38-15 at the Browns. Bailey Zapp or Zappy, I think it's supposed to be Zappy, right? 309 and 2 touchdowns. Do we have a quarterback controversy when Mac Jones comes back? And you're a huge
100%. Mac
Jones guy.
Yeah, 100%, man. With Mac Jones, they were not scoring 38 points in any game the way this team was playing this year.
Right.
Bailey Zapp is zapped. He's giving this team a spark, dude. Something's going on. Ramondre's playing great too, obviously back there. But
yeah,
fuck, man. Even against the Browns, they're not a great team. I didn't see the Patriots scoring 38.
No,
I think they scored the most points this week. Actually,
I actually thought the Patriots were going to play down in this one because they just had the balls out game the game before, right?
Yeah.
So I thought they'd play down. Browns kind of trying to stay. In my own head, thought is that they'd hover around that 500 mark until possibly Deshaun comes back if they're still in the hunt, right?
Yeah.
And I know, have we talked about that already? I know you've seen the memes going around where Belichick's going down and talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, okay, Tom, my name's Bailey. Yeah, but
Anyway,
Brady,
Tom.
I need you to go ahead and on this next one. He's like, but we're getting there. Was he a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick?
Yeah, somewhere in there. He's playing, dude, he must be catching on to the system very well, something. Because, I mean, this is Tom Brady-esque. I got to give him that. 7 different players caught a ball from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's especially for that young of a guy, that doesn't happen. You pick your guys, right?
Right. Well, so you can name maybe, and you probably forgot he was even there. Most people did. You can't name most of these receivers.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Right?
Yep.
The one you probably could, if you remembered that he went there, was Devontae Parker.
Yeah, him and Jacoby, maybe.
Maybe Jacoby if you've been paying attention to the NFL.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry getting some action up in there too. But would you, if you were in control of that team right now, the way they're moving, you wouldn't make a move back to Mac, would you?
No, I'd at least give it another week or two and be like, Mac, listen, that ankle, that's going to be tough. Let's go ahead and rest. We're doing okay.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, let's get some more
Take
wins.
care of your health.
But
we can't say see what we got, but
yeah, you're right.
You probably can't say that part. But like, hey, we want you to be 1,000%.
We'll see how you feel in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a high ankle sprain. That shit's fucked up, man.
Yeah, and it was severe too, right, when it happened?
Now, are we going to Jets Packers?
Yes.
Next? Before we do, we're going to talk about that game. I, in my wildest dreams, did not predict that this division was going to be probably one of the most interesting in NFL this year.
Yeah.
No way.
No.
But we're about to talk about it. Now, what did the Jets do, Jimmer?
The Jets at Lambeau smacked up the Packers 27-10. That is back-to-back losses to New York-based teams. One over the pond and one in your own backyard. Smacked them up. Breece Hall is turning himself into a legit RB1, which we kind of thought was going to happen anyways, at least if on the pre-draft portion. We thought that was awesome, that they slam dunked their draft, and Breece Hall was part of that haul.
Yep.
But my God, the most entertaining part of this, besides Aaron Rodgers and the Packers losing because we're Vikings fans, which creates even more cushion. This feels so weird. They're down by 2 games. Is one Mr. Sauce Gardner rocking the cheesehead hat around, trolling the fans in the stadium afterwards.
That was awesome.
And just walking around like a boss, like so just cock it off. I was like, hell yes. Love every second of this. Alan Lazard did come up and try to defend their honor and knocked it off his head, but
yep, I loved it. I'm a big fan of that man. I have been, but this just puts him up there even more.
Even more. You know, we love that swag. We loved him with Cincinnati, and we thought it was a slam dunk for them too. But just, they're proven week in, week out. We were laughing about this. What, week 2? Is that when it was? When Mr. Robert Salah said he's taking receipts?
Taking receipts, man.
Taking receipts. He might be cashing these bad boys in here soon, right?
Bro, the Jets are 4-2.
4-2. So I have 2 huge questions for you, okay? Number 1 is, and this would be out of respect for him. I'm sure I know the answer coming out of your mouth, but your level of concern for the Packers and can they still make the playoffs? And what you've seen on the field.
Pretty big level of concern. Aaron Rodgers is not playing well. We thought Aaron Jones was going to get the ball more. He did not.
Yeah, did
9
not.
times. Robert Tonyan, 12 targets. That's not what they do. This is what this shows me. Aaron is only going to his guys. He's going to Lazard, going to Tonyan. He did target your boy Dobbs quite a bit, but not enough. Other than that, nothing basically for anybody else. You can't do that, dude. He's in this, I want to win now. I want to go to who I know. Bro, you have to work with these guys and develop them, and he's not patient. He's not going to do that.
Yep.
Very big level of concern for the Packers at this point. I don't know. Let me take a gander at what their schedule looks like. Maybe it gets better, but I would have thought the Jets would have been a win. So they do play the Commanders next. You think they would get a dub there, right?
Which we kind of talked about, old boy with his finger. So they are starting, God, what is his name? Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, and Heineke might do better, to be honest.
He might be.
But then they've got the Bills, Lions, Cowboys, Titans, Eagles. The Lions, in my opinion, everybody should be healthy by then. They're going to outscore Green Bay. Green Bay can't score points.
Yeah.
The Bills are going to beat them. Very concerned. Okay?
I think, what did I say to start the season? Can you recall? What did I say? I was thinking maybe around that 500 for them when we were calling this out. I said maybe 9 wins, but could see them get up to like 10.
Yeah, it was around then. Yeah.
You know, right?
Yep.
I don't see them getting 9 wins. That's not going to happen.
It's a tough stretch to get 6 more wins, man.
Yeah.
It
So
really is.
that's what I'm thinking. Like 8 might be even a stretch. If they don't figure something out like right now, the only thing that will keep them half-ass in this is the defense. And the defense obviously didn't look that ridiculously good if you let the Jets just thump you.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't just a bad offense rolling out there. Or inexperienced offense. We'll play it nice, I guess. But, yeah. And then my second question. We talked about both the teams now. Jets, Giants. Playing outside of expectation for most. Some of us had a little higher than others, which...
Yeah, you did.
But who do you have of these two with their current records? Who do you have actually making the playoffs? And let's say your answer is both. Something weird happens, say both. Which one's going further?
Just looking at the Jets' schedule, the best odds of making the playoffs, and I think it's mostly because they're in the NFC, is going to be the Giants. I know the Cowboys beat them up a couple weeks ago. I think the Giants are actually better than the Cowboys, though, with that loss aside. The Jets have a relatively tough schedule coming up yet. They might be fine. I mean, I think they're still young too. We've got to remember that. They've got that on their side, but that's not necessarily a good thing for this year. I think they've got some learning to do yet, but they're going to cause some problems. They're going to be maybe even the same record, but I think the Giants could make the playoffs this year. The Jets, I don't think they will.
Are you leaning towards them having a winning record when this is all said and done?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what
they're both right in that 9-win range.
Right.
at the
So
end of the
whether
year.
we no longer can have 500 seasons. So yeah, so you're thinking that 8-9, 9-8,
Yep.
whatever, kind of flipping right there. That's where I'm at too, kind of looking at over both of theirs. Giants' schedule is a little bit easier, it looks like, on paper than the Jets. They both do play the Vikings though. But when the Bills are up on that still, you still have the Patriots. You have the Bills twice. You have the Patriots twice. You have
tough. Yeah, it's definitely a tougher schedule, man.
yeah, and of course
The
and then the
Dolphins, when they're
at the end.
healthy, they're going to be very good.
And they're at the Dolphins too. So everything's weird when you go down there and play in Miami. So
yep.
let's see. Click back here. And we were on. Yeah, there it is. I got this one went the other way. I think I said Colts. You guys
did
were on
pick
Jaguars.
Colts. Yep.
I wanted the Jaguars, but this game was another come from behind for Colts though. Like the few wins that they have had, they've had to come back and grab it, right?
Yeah.
389, 3 touchdowns for Matt Ryan. Michael Pittman had himself one hell of a day in the receptions department and the yards. Touchdowns didn't quite go his way, but I believe the Jaguars are still learning to win. The Colts are expected to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. This game, the only weird thing, I thought it would be close. I did pick the Jags, but I didn't think Indy could score 34 points either. So that was kind of weird after what we just saw with that bullshit last week.
Do you think they're finally breaking through to what we were expecting in the
No, dude, Matt Ryan had to throw the ball 58 times.
right? I
You
guess I should see.
You can't.
Yeah, that's an 8, not a 0.
Yeah, 58
58.
times, man. And oddly enough, the Jags, Trevor Lawrence was 20 of 22, dude. That's a really fucking good game with a tutty.
That's a very good game, except for why. Like I didn't get to watch this one. I don't know why was there only 22? Because the game was close enough throughout the game.
Must be because I mean they did rush the ball 33 times. So that
Yeah,
has
they
to
did
be-
rush a lot,
yeah.
so they kind of kept it out of his hands. But yeah, Christian Kirk did get the touchdown I was talking about. Not as many receptions and yards in that one, but still, it's almost like what I'm looking like on here when I'm watching like on this or what I'm seeing on this is they played more not to lose than they played to win, right?
Yeah,
That's what it feels like to me.
yeah,
Because you were scoring every quarter, right? And then you shut down Indianapolis on the first and third quarter you only gave up 6. So,
and I'm really thinking that offensive line is finally starting to come together. He had 58 passes. He didn't get sacked. That's insane to me. Matt Ryan didn't get sacked.
no, he didn't. Holy.
So
Finally gelling.
Maybe I'll start leaning that way. If that offensive line gets his shit together like we thought it would be, yeah, I think they could still be. I mean, 3-2, they're still Tennessee might be up on them by a game or a half game with that tie, but yeah, I like what I'm seeing, man. No sacks, 58. I don't like that, but
Who got Deion Jackson
I don't know.
in our fantasy? Because he had
I
12
almost-
for 42
I
and a
almost did.
touchdown.
Yeah, I almost did, and I fucking backed out. I shouldn't have, but
10 receptions for 79 yards. 10.
yeah.
Naheem Hines, I don't think has ever had 10 receptions, dude. There's good. It's guys like that you don't think that are going to do something that end up being that one that, you know what I'm saying, especially when it comes to fantasy part.
Yeah.
Just boost your team the rest of the way because nobody expected it and you didn't think to grab him, right? Because Jonathan Taylor's there, seeing how serious it gets, how his injury plays out. But we got the Bengals Saints. Bengals, I called this one too.
Yes, sir.
30-26. They needed to dig something out. They had something to prove there.
Jamar Chase showed up.
Jamar Chase finally showed up. Thank you for my fantasy team also.
Yeah, fuck off.
Good God. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I faced my man Danny G over here. I pulled Allen Robinson out of my starting lineup for the first time since I traded for him, and then he finally has a decent day too. But regardless, Joe Burrow did go for 303 touchdowns. Like I said on Sunday, I believe that they're starting to gel and get it right, like what we believe they kind of should be. They did give up 3 sacks in this game. They still didn't rush the ball that many times.
14. That's crazy.
But they were efficient with when they did have the ball. Yeah. I don't know when he's supposed to be back. Have you seen anything about when?
No, he was.
Jameis?
I think even before this game, he was questionable.
Was he?
If he could get back healthy, I have way more faith in this team.
I think so too.
I know he's gonna throw picks, but he's gonna he's gonna chuck it down. They're gonna get some yards and score too. So God, I don't know. I hope he can come back healthy. But yeah, that they need that with Jamar Chase, man. We haven't seen that all year, right?
Right.
So
I've been wondering where the hell he's at. I get joked about it, but I'm being serious all at the same time. I got him in fantasy. I was like, where's everyone saying that he's better than Justin Jefferson, right? Where are all those talkers at? And he finally had a game that you could at least have the conversation for a half a second here, but that's about as far as that goes. But is this a step in that? I understand the Saints are down. There's some injuries and stuff. Are you feeling the same way about the Bengals as I am? Like they're going in the right direction at least.
Yeah, they're going to have to put more together, though. I do feel better, but they're still not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've got some tough games left, so I don't know, man.
That they do. Yeah, looking at that. I don't know what to think of the Titans yet, so like when I say tough games left, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
like I don't know I don't know what to think yet on them, so we kind of talked about this one a little bit already. But the Steelers knock off the Bucks 20-18. Our guy, Kenny Pickett, at least my guy, did end up throwing a touchdown. He did get knocked out of this game in the third quarter, concussion protocol. Mitchell came in and closed her out. He had himself a decent day, actually. 9 of 12, 144 and a touchdown in his relief duty. The offensive line kind of held up.
Yeah.
Outside of the concussion, I guess, but 2 sacks.
Yeah, speaking of teams we don't know what to think about, the Bucks and the Steelers, right? I think this game for the Steelers, it's all about coaching. Mike Tomlin had that team ready. Mm-hmm. There's a reason he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yes.
And you had the worst pass defense in the NFL up to this point, and Tom Brady was getting on fire. The last few games, he's been lighting it up, and you fucking bottled him up. They didn't do shit.
Yep.
That's so much on Mike Tomlin, man. We don't give him enough credit. Fucking awesome win. That's another game, just like the Falcons. I would not have even thought about Pittsburgh in this game.
I'm being serious about this, right? How do you have Mike Evans on your team as your receiver and the dude, and you see these stat lines all the time ever since Tom Brady's been there? 4 for 42. Sometimes they've even been less. They've been 3 for 21. Granted, he'll get the touchdown or touchdown or 2 or something like that out of nowhere that'll, fantasy-wise, will be fine, but how do you have Mike Evans and the dude doesn't have 8 receptions? I'm not even trying to take a dig at anybody else. I think Chris Godwin's a damn good wide receiver, but we're talking about Mike Evans here.
Yeah.
The dude doesn't utilize his guys either, I think.
Dude, it's a really good point. I think in Tom Brady's career, other than Randy Moss, he doesn't like his outside receivers. It's all the slot guys.
He likes that slot, and he likes it up the gut, right?
Yeah.
Like right up.
And that's not what Mike does.
No.
Mike Evans, right? Like that's not what he does. So maybe there's some of that. But, dude, yeah, you're right. Tom's got to have some accountability and use what he's got. 4 receptions. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. That's what I'm saying. And, yeah, he was sacked twice. I think one ended up being fumble, and Chris Godwin, I think, got it back for him. Yeah, he recovered that fumble. But
this team can feel him falling apart. I'm telling you.
I'm with you. This is on him. Yeah. I'm 1,000% on board with that. It is 1,000% on Tom Brady. Not utilizing everyone, and they're getting healthier too on offense too. So I don't even want to hear that. The only thing you point at is that Mr. Bruce Arians is no longer the coach. So there's a change in that. Bruce Arians is kind of like he's a player's coach, but don't fuck with me all at the same time. Like he's a perfect balance of that. I tend to think, right?
Yeah.
That's how he comes off to me. maybe he was tired. He's seen the writing on the wall and stuff and how he acts. Maybe he didn't want no part of this shit, and Todd Bowles is a perfect pushover for it, and it just doesn't work. It'd be interesting to see here going down the stretch, but
Yeah, it's wild thinking how bad Pittsburgh's pass defense had been. Godwin had 12 targets, which doubles everybody else's targets in that game. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man?
yeah, I don't think he utilizes his weapons enough. They even tried to bring Mike Evans into like the slot / tight end spot a few times. They did it a couple games ago too, because that offense coordinator has to see the same thing that we're seeing. Like, you're not utilizing your best wide receiver.
Yep.
And so the only way you'll target him if he's coming up the goddamn gut. I don't know. This is on Tom too. Like, you haven't really changed over time for the most part, except for the one Randy Moss year, like you put for a couple of years.
Yeah. So think about this division now. New Orleans, if they get healthier,
It's still in
especially Jameis, they're still in it. The Falcons could win this division this year, bro.
Falcons.
They look like the best team right now, don't they, in that division?
Yeah, they definitely have the most heart.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. They're putting forth everything they got, right?
They'll run that fucking ball 40 times a game. They don't
But
care.
this is also part of it right here that Tom Brady's probably going to backdoor into the playoffs because of that, or if the Saints get hot, right? Because I want to root for the Falcons and everything, but at the end of the day, the wheels got to fall off, right? I mean,
yeah.
at the
They're
end of the day,
riding some momentum, right?
They're riding some momentum. It's a cool story here. It's awesome. Hell, they almost have 3 times more wins than what I was predicting right now, right?
Yeah, we were thinking bottom of the barrel,
Yeah.
man. And like I said earlier, and we've talked about this, man, every game they lost has been competitive. They could have won. They could damn near be undefeated right now.
Could be. Absolutely.
So, man.
And they got hosed out of the Buccaneers game the week
Yes.
before. So,
Yeah.
we got the Rams over the Panthers, 24-10. There isn't anything too special about this one. We talked about, wide receiver.
Oh, yeah. Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah, for whatever reason, I had like Harrison stuck in my head. Robbie Anderson. We talked about that a little bit, but this is what should have happened, but it still isn't that impressive for LA, right? Like, you needed the win. A win is a win. I get it. That's awesome, but still doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah, that 24-10 is bullshit, too. It was close. They were only up like 14-10 or 17-10 for the longest time. And then in the fourth quarter,
they got got a late touchdown.
Yeah, the third and the fourth. They were actually down 10-7 for a while and then finally rattled some off. So yeah, I don't feel great about them at all.
Listen to this. And I'm a PJ Walker guy. 10-16 for 60 yards.
Yeah.
He had a 3.8 average. That's not even a good running back number.
Where's our guy? Did he not play?
Who?
DJ
McCaffrey?
Moore?
DJ Moore?
No.
No, he's there. Three receptions, 7 yards. 2.3 average.
Jesus
7 targets.
Okay, he did get targeted, but fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So worst team in the NFL for sure, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They have taken that. They have heavily inserted themselves in the number 1 pick talk. A couple teams are outplaying themselves, and that we picked the Seahawks, we picked the Texans, and the Falcons, and all 3 of those teams are playing with a hell of a lot more heart than this team.
100%.
Now, we didn't have the Panthers going much more than those 2, though, right? Or those 3.
Right.
It wasn't much. I think we were predicting like 4 wins or something like
Yeah.
that. It may be hard-pressed to get 4.
Dude, I'm telling you. Speaking of the Seahawks, this was a surprise. First of all, the score was only 19-9.
Yeah.
Vegas just raked this weekend.
Yeah. Weird. And then defense showed up.
Yeah.
Where was it optional? The weird thing, are you talking about the Cardinals actually losing on the road?
Yeah, and I mean, to the Seahawks. Don't you have a top 5 quarterback? That's what he got paid. So he can only put up 9 points against the Seahawks defense. I think the Detroit Lions put up quite a bit more than 9 points against this defense.
Right. And so did the Saints without Jameis. Right?
Yeah. Like, what the
So
fuck?
Kyler Murray had 10 carries for 100 yards, though. Also indicative of they don't have a run game.
Yeah, that's true.
They let the better running back go because you got hopped on the James Conner one that was just raking in goal line touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no run game. They're in desperate need. Eno Benjamin 15 and 37.
Christian McCaffrey, you might have 2 Panthers up on this bitch pretty soon.
Yeah,
Man.
right. Your boy, though, hold on. So Geno he's back to kind of normal Geno stuff. He didn't throw picks or anything.
Yeah.
He did take 5 sacks in this game, though. Kyler Murray took 6. So it was sack heaven.
Damn.
But your boy, Kenneth Walker III, starting to turn into something here in the league.
Yeah, he's trying to get that Rookie of the Year, man. Him and Breece Hall.
Yeah.
They're competing, I bet,
Yeah.
man.
21-97 and a tutty.
They're on a similar trajectory at this point. They're both rolling, so hell yeah.
No, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure I brought up your guy there. There was a lot of turnover. Ball couldn't be secured. A lot of sacks. This was an ugly game. This is almost what the NFC West used to be like, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, probably about 5.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised by the score, too. But who else you got? Oh, of course. Here's another one where Vegas went ahead and threw it in. And that'd be the Bills-Chiefs.
Told you, take the under, bro.
Yeah. See, I told you something didn't feel right about this. You're going to jump on this because you're going to pound in your head that AFC Championship game. There's going to be too much pride on this if we want to go non-NFL conspiracy and just go with pride of players for them to turn this into a shootout. First off, it couldn't be a shootout. This is a game that the Chiefs had an opportunity to win because it actually played into their favor. You can't get in a shootout with the Bills without a Tyreek available anymore.
That's the truth.
It wouldn't be you can't do it. It's not the same. You're not going to be able to do it. So this is the best case scenario when you guys came up short-handed. And Mr. Patrick Mahomes threw the game-sealing pick, which probably, if you ask his mom or his wife, probably wasn't his fault.
Not on him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was beautiful because on the road, Josh Allen, his stat line's going to be fine. It always is. He did not play a great game.
No.
And they were able to win. So I'm a big fan. They actually ran the ball 31 times.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, they did.
Maybe they're practicing. Like, all right, let's see what happens, you know?
Let's actually run this. Yeah, Singletary looked good. Like we've been saying, he averaged 5 yards a carry. He runs hard. They needed to figure this out. Now, granted, what you said 31 times, 12 of those carries came from Mr. Josh Allen.
Of course.
But 17, they gave Singletary every shot to do that. Stephon Diggs had 10 for 148, so he was on money and on fire. But yeah, Josh Allen's stat line still looks studly. He's the MVP.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson has now separated himself from that.
Yeah.
Outside shot of Saquon.
Try to say, shout it out.
But one hell of a game. Any other?
No, did you see the hurdle? Josh Allen's hurdle, though?
I did.
That
I was like,
so good.
I was like, thank you. I said that to one of the Chiefs fans. I'm like, us Viking fans aren't the only ones now.
No shit.
Their hurdle, yeah, hopped right up on over.
What did you think about the Eagles-Cowboys? I think you might have picked the Cowboys in this one, so that might have been like your rare miss. This weekend you were on.
So in this one, I picked the Cowboys because I remember that.
Oh yeah,
conversation.
because you were hoping for the drama. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping for the drama. Probably felt like the Eagles were going to win that. And with these two teams, I always want them to just see them kill each other. It's kind of like Packers versus Bears. I don't want a winner at the end of it. But yeah, what I saw is the Cowboys had a shot still.
They did.
And even down to the last few, and penalties still were getting them, turnovers. Defense still kept them in it. And the Eagles still have a concern, people. They're winning, absolutely. And they're winning studly, too. They really are. But they still have an issue in the second half, Danny.
Yeah.
And you've seen it point blank, too, like actually watching this game.
Yeah.
You're keeping these teams in the game when you should be blowing the door off, right?
Yeah, dude.
It does take the controversy out, though, right?
Yeah, Cooper Rush came down to earth hard, man. 18 of 38, 1 TD, 3 picks.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. I know the Eagles have a good defense. There's no knocking that, but yeah, Dak will be
Didn't
back.
expect that. Yeah, you just helped kick that door wide open. Tony Pollard was bottled up in this game. If there's any hope, I actually thought it would be him when it came to like squirting one loose for him. Ezekiel actually we beat on him. We got to give him a little bit of love. He was running pretty damn hard in this game. He only had 13 carries, but he had 81 yards and a touchdown too. So
Yeah, it's hard. I hate the Eagles, but I am a fan of Jalen Hurts. I think he's a stud. He's a workhorse, and he's leading that team. So I got to give him credit. I mean, they're undefeated.
Yeah, their offense just didn't. It looked weird, and it was an ugly game. But their defense, you're allowed to have a game like that every so often, right? Where the one side of your team doesn't quite pull it. Vikings just had it down there.
Yeah.
You know, Philadelphia just had it up here. In this particular game, their defense balled out and did their job, right? Like,
That's
hey, we'll
right.
carry you on this one.
Yeah, dude.
You know, kind of an ugly game. Wasn't as highly entertaining as what it should be. Other than some drama, Philly. Dallas, there was some shoving. There was
Always
shit getting physical, so I like that.
Yeah.
And then there was.
And that's a wrap. I don't think we need to talk about
We got to a
else.
little bit.
All right.
We got to a little bit.
All
We'll go.
right.
We got Chargers, Broncos, overtime, 19-16 for the Chargers with the victory. Couple notes I have to give you. Number one is the kicker ended up kicking 4 field goals.
Yeah.
Mr. Hopkins. He did this after his first extra point. He pulled something in his leg. So I don't know if you watched the rest of his.
It looked funky.
It did. And
Yeah.
like he kept bringing it. Like the ball was coming in, barely making it on the left side. But he gutted it out because I think he's like, I don't know if you saw the video of this. This is why I had to bring it up too. Their only kicker that could possibly go for an extra point was their punter, who had only kicked twice in college. He was 50%. No, maybe it's 4 times. 4 times he only made 1. But what I'm getting at is the video on the sideline of him like practicing like with no ball in front of him and like trying to just get footing right. Dustin had been like getting his leg worked on. He kind of looked over. He's like, "Fuck, I need to go out there and wait for them to get up. Next week they'll be able to pick up a kicker while I get right. But we're definitely gonna lose this if we have this." He's like, I don't know. You just got to watch a video. Look up the punter practicing air field goal kicks on the side. Like it looks like a middle schooler trying to get lined up.
That's awesome. No, I didn't see that, man.
The second thing I got to give you on this one, my friend, is I was so ready to pounce. I was like, oh, here we go. And the reason why I was so ready to pounce is first off the busted play where the tight end was open and got in the end zone and looked like he was going to get one a little bit later on. I think something happened. I think he got hit right when he was about to deliver it. He hit one on a long strike, but if he would have hit it in stride, but the dude was like in his face.
Yeah.
Ended up with a long completion. Didn't get a touchdown. Should have been a touchdown had he had the clearance right there. But either way, it was actually that Russell Wilson started this game 10 for 10. I was so ready to bury some bone in you. So ready. Until I went to bed because it was such a boring-ass game as field goals at that point, basically. And then I woke up to Russell Wilson. 15 of 28. So, quick math for you people out there. If he was 10 for 10 at one point, and he finished 15 of 28, that means he went the rest of the game 5 of 18.
Yes, he did, sir. Yes, he did.
Evidently, and he also took 4 sacks. Evidently, he also had a pulled hamstring in this game. So now we have a shoulder, hamstring.
I'll take that win too, bitch. I told you.
What?
Oh, he's going to come out with
bail?
a fucking injury after they lose this game. Every
did get
time
what
he
you
looks like
did.
shit, there's
Oh,
some kind of
God damn it.
injury. Every time.
Oh, man, we would have been there, and I was there, and I
Yeah.
had the one.
First it was his shoulder, and every single time, man. Now it's his hammy.
I'm not
No.
sold on the shoulder unless he's getting some shit shot up into him, which could be. That still does happen.
Sure.
I'm not sold on it, though, because he had plenty of zip in that ball.
Yeah.
I watched him throw. There was no part of that where I was like, oh, dude, maybe that shoulder is fucked up. No, he had plenty of zip on that ball when he was throwing it. He still looks so uncomfortable in this offense. Is that just me? Like, actually watching him
Yeah.
back there, it looks so uncomfortably like, dude, you two are not on the same page at all.
No.
Russell, you're not playing your way. Like, you should just take over. Like, if you think you still got it, just play your way then.
Right.
Call the play, but do your rollout. You make something happen, blah, blah. What Kyler Murray does because what you did type of thing.
Yeah.
It is such an ugly game. Justin Herbert, I was actually surprised, wasn't playing too well either, though.
57 pass attempts, man. That Denver defense is fucking legit.
It
You
is.
got to give him credit.
It is. And and it's going to keep them half-assed in the conversation. I am tired of seeing the Broncos on primetime, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I'm definitely over that.
I don't know how many more we have of them. It feels like we've had one
every week almost.
almost every week.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel though about the Chargers. I don't feel great about them either.
No.
4-2, but they don't look like they're clicking.
I think the one thing I'm holding out hope for them, because, I'm pulling for the Chargers. I had them winning this division.
Yeah.
And they still, I think they're tied with, technically the Chiefs are ahead of them because they lost the head-to-head, which they shouldn't have lost that game. But the one thing that I'm thinking that is that can get them back on track and they'll be fine, and the glue, the continuity, will be Keenan Allen. Get Keenan Allen back out there. I'm not even talking about you need like 150 yards from him. Just what he brings to when you need that third down pass, he's there for you. Even if it's that one little 10-yarder or something that you need, he clears up the field for you in other ways. It also helps. It'll make Austin Eckler's lanes a little bit more open when he's out there running the ball too, who's also been balling out anyways. I mean, 10 catches, 47 yards. He had only 36 yards on the ground running, but he had a touchdown too. But I think when he comes back, you're going to see a little bit of different. I'm more worried about that defense. It was supposed to ball out, right? All the names, they brought in all these guys. Old boy is balling out, Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
I think he's leading the league in sacks.
He's playing well.
He was all over Russell in this game too. So, but I'm with you. A little bit of concern with the Chargers. I would like to see him come back and see what happens. But
yeah, the last thing before we get into your It Makes Sense is technically, I guess 4 quarterbacks really got paid in the offseason if you include Deshaun. But Kyler, Russ, and A-Rod.
Yeah.
How are they looking this year?
Buyer's remorse. On
All three.
all three.
Yeah.
I was about to hesitate for a second, say all three. You had to, though, on one of them for sure. You did.
Kyler, probably?
No.
You think you had to Aaron?
I think you had to. Because you felt like the window was still open.
But you did that, and then you got rid of the guy.
I know. I understand that.
Right?
I understand that part. But the reason why you signed him initially was because of you thought you guys still had your window. You still have your window, and you can do this. Your defense has gotten better. You would not be anywhere in the conversation if Jordan Love was your starting quarterback, right?
Right.
So you almost had to do it, in my opinion. Kyler, I don't know if they had to do it. They flirt with it, and you're more of a Kyler hater than me, but I think they flirt with the playoffs. They're not a playoff team when they are in there. Or when they do make the playoffs, they're not really one to make a threat for it. But I don't know if they've been any further off actually moving on from him and trying to kind of not tank, but tank, and then these quarterbacks are in there now. They just did it before Kyler got there too, so...
Yeah,
the Russell one I'm surprised by. They opened the bank for him. The trade is the trade. They had to or felt like they had to because of what they gave up to get him.
Yeah.
All of them are buyer's remorse though, 1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I obviously haven't been a big fan of Russ, especially since last year. Kyler, I don't like anything about him. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't like what he brings to the locker room after all the shit we heard.
Yeah.
So that I couldn't believe that. But Aaron, I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are, this is where I'm obviously a huge Peyton guy like you. Peyton would have made everybody better.
Yes.
Aaron's not doing that.
No.
That's the level. So he's up there. But when you talk about Peyton, even Tom Brady, right, in his prime, they make everybody better. That is a nobody.
Yep.
Right? And they go get other people paid. And Aaron obviously can't do that. I don't know. Something's off, though.
See, the weird thing is, and this would be a hard question to answer, who's going to take their team further this year right now? They're all living down. They're all near the same record, right about.
Yeah.
Right? Who are you thinking? And 2 of the 3 for sure have pretty damn good defenses. So I think I have the answer half-ass narrowed down for you. But
yeah, I would obviously.
But Arizona does get their key receiver back too.
And you got to think about that. They don't have a run game. Their defense is bad. I lean towards Rodgers. I think they're going to be closer to 500. I don't think Arizona will be. Yeah, I probably lean towards Rodgers. They'll be in a better spot at the end of the year.
Rodgers, maybe outside shot at Denver, but that's because of that defense at this point. Yeah. Melvin Gordon got no love, by the way.
No, I think just a little bit ago, I think I saw something. He's like basically wants out after that game.
3 carries.
I don't blame him.
8 yards. And you gave it to a dude off the street, Latavius, which I like Latavius. Latavius is a very nice player and everything. Yeah. Why'd you bring him back then? Why'd you bring Melvin Gordon back if somebody could have used him?
Hey, maybe that's a more realistic thing is Melvin Gordon to Arizona.
Or to the Chiefs. They need a running back. They won't go in the same division, though. So.
No, usually that doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, you're right. One last question we'll roll, and that is, with all those guys, all those teams we were just saying, those quarterbacks, does your perception change? Well, yeah, because you said maybe Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Do they turn into an instant playoff team if they sign OBJ?
Probably.
You think that changes it that much more, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I also think the NFC isn't nearly as deep where there's a ton of teams chomping at the bit to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He's going to make that better. Aaron Rodgers can target him 20 times a game, but that's what leads to their success.
Right. And it opens up the field for the other guys too, so they only get, they may even get more quote unquote open.
Yeah.
The route running won't be as important because they're not at the route where they're supposed to be because they're getting jammed off of it or whatever.
Yep.
I was thinking the same thing. So I'm hoping and praying that the Chiefs pick him up because the rumblings are, 4 teams? Bills, Chiefs, Packers.
Rams still.
Rams, so it was 5. And then Tampa Bay was still in that conversation. I don't think Tampa Bay necessarily needs him. He just needs to use the receivers he has.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping the Chiefs pull him because I think that he could legitimately change the outlook of this season for the Packers if he signs up there.
I think there's a legit shot he goes to Buffalo. I mean, he's got his guy up there that's been clamoring for him to come up, right, in Vaughn. I think there's a real good shot that happens. And right now, they're the odds on to make it to the Super Bowl, let alone win it. And that's what he wants. He wants another ring. He got a taste. Now he wants to play the full game.
And you're not going to get double coverage, not on a regular basis. You can't do that with Stephon Diggs out there.
No.
And Dawson Knox Gabriel Davis and Isaiah. They have too many weapons that he's going to get one-on-one. So I don't know if there's quite enough balls there to be thrown around with all those guys I just named. Either that or someone else's feelings are getting hurt or someone's growth is going to go down. Isaiah McKenzie played down. He kind of hurt you.
Yep.
Appreciate that, Isaiah.
Yeah, everybody did, man. I thought I could get a piece of that and get some points because the high-scoring game, that didn't happen. So.
Didn't happen. Fuck you, Vegas.
Well, Jimmer, you have a story.
I do.
Do you remember the story?
I do.
Okay.
And the name of this story is Not Worth My Time. Now, this is brought to you by one Joey Kelly. I am going to call it out.
Shout out, Joey.
So, today, my runner, Mr. Eric White, was down there, and he was asking who was on second shift in our room this week. And I reminded him. It was Luke, one of our mini co-hosts there, and Joey. So he messaged both of them. I think he tried Joey first. He's like, hey, Friday I have a dentist appointment at 2. I think it's at 2. So he's trying to get him to come in a half hour early to cover him. So you don't have to use time or anything like that. Joey messages back, says, make it, that's not worth my time, make it an hour and we'll make it worthwhile. Make it an hour, I'm covering. He's like, no, I just need a little bit of cover. You're talking about taking money out of my pocket. You're just covering. You're coming that way anyway. You're going to be there, right? He comes into work. This is all over the text. He comes into work. And he's like, well, did you end up making up your decision then? He's like, yeah, I'm going to try to find someone else. If I'm not going to do an hour, half hour, it's still OT for you. Yeah, it ain't worth my time. Not worth my time. And it's kind of saying that. He was kind of like a little red in the face and this, that, and the other. I'm like, what do you mean not worth your time? You're helping somebody. I am helping somebody. You know, I'm trying to help them out. Like you are. It's not that hard to help them out just by showing up half hour early. Yeah, but that's not worth my time. I'm like, that's not the definition of helping somebody. That's literally not the definition of helping somebody. Not worth my time.
That's awesome.
That it's not supposed to be worth your time. It's supposed to be worth their time because you're helping them out.
Right.
Not worth my time. I'm like, wow, you are coming off as a big old douche right now.
Damn, Joey.
Yeah, me and Luke were just like looking at each other. I'm like, is this really happening right now? And that came out of your mouth. I'm trying to help him. Not worth my time. Those two cannot coexist in the same sentence.
No shit. Makes sense.
Makes sense if you don't think about it.
Wow. Not worth my time.
Words of wisdom here is, if you're going to help somebody out, just help them. Doesn't matter what the reward is back or whatever benefits you, because it's supposed to be helping somebody. If you're purely concerned about the benefits of getting on the backside, then try to pick a different phrase other than I'm trying to help you, but it's not worth my time.
Right. If you're helping somebody, it's not about what's in it for you.
Right.
Okay?
Just don't say you're trying to help them then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to help them. You want your nut too. Gotcha.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start to wrap her up, ladies and gentlemen. So out there in the interwebs, if you happen to find us anywhere, be sure to like, subscribe, share, the whole 9 yards. Speaking of that, where's the podcast available, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere you could possibly think of. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And
one quick update, breaking news. This might change the NFL landscape. Baltimore Ravens are officially signing wide receiver Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I forgot about that.
Deep threat.
Jesus, that's all you got, man. You need some different pieces.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But at the same time, make sure you slide into the DMs, because that is not only where we want to tell stories on your behalf, but that's how you're going to get your tickets to Phantom Fall Fest in Adventureland. Go to adventurelandresorts.com and you can see everything that it's about. We'll also post a little bit of an ad, a little promo for them on the YouTube channel too. But a bunch of cool shit, Halloween stuff for you and the family. They haven't done it in 50 years. It's a big deal. Like Jimmer said last time, Valley Fair is not doing theirs this year. So there's only one spot to go. Check out Adventureland. All you got to do is slide into the DMs. We'll let you know what to do to get your tickets. We're shooting out our first set here right now. It's open till the end of the month. Make sure you do that. Slide into the DMs, the whole 9 yards. And on top of that, Jimmer, I was gonna say something. I better avoid that. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Let's say you have a son. Okay, your son plays football.
That he does.
And outside of the football season, he doesn't know what to do for workouts, right?
Right. Still trying to learn. Still a young buck.
Yeah, got to figure that stuff out. The coach can't be there over your shoulder all year. What would you say if there was an app out there that could set workouts for him?
Like, let's do this.
Like, tell him how much weight to move, what lifts to do, how many calories he's burned, all that stuff. That'd be pretty sweet, right?
On his phone that's always attached to his hand?
100%.
What? I'd be all about that. But am I paying full price for it? Is it free? What's up?
Well, normally, yeah, you'd pay full price, and that's a hit, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you you could use this app, and it's actually called FitBod, with code 3GIG to save 25%? 25%. That's a quarter of the price that you save. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Sign him up, right?
Huge deal. Absolutely.
Got to do it.
Show them how to do it. Shows you can click on videos and show you exactly how to do the workout if you're questioning how to do it. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. FitBod is the app. Check it out. When you want to buy it, you want to get the subscription, use code 3GIG. Save yourself 25%, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
It's a big deal. And other than that, it's a cold night in Northern Iowa. We're going to get out of here and warm up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3GIG Sports. We out.